Baldur's Gate 3 cleans up at the Game Awards. We get a whole ton of new reveals, but by God, do the Game Awards need a serious revamp. I'm Ash Dixon, and this is GINX News. As you may know, the Game Awards took place last night, and that means we have a whole load of stuff to unpack. And while the evening provided a questionable mix of awards, trailers, and commercials, I'll touch on that later, I think it's best we start with what the whole night is meant to be about. The awards. And it was none other than Baldur's Gate 3 that dominated the night. It very deservedly swept up 6 awards, most importantly of which was Game of the Year. Larian founder Sven Väinck took to the stage to accept the award, and he gave a heartfelt speech not only thanking his team, but also commemorating those who they'd lost at Larian over the game's development. And it was a rather beautiful moment, made greater by his magnificent breastplate that rustled throughout the whole speech. In fact, it took me back to Larian's first community update video released 4 years ago, where he also wore a suit of armor. Back then, there was so much mystery. There was excitement that the studio who made Divinity 2 was at the helm, but also so much trepidation on whether they could actually pull it off. Yet now here we are, and not only did they pull it off, they've created one of the best RPGs ever made. That wasn't the only award though. Their night kicked off with Astarion's voice actor Neil Newbon winning the award for Best Performance. They also picked up Best Community Support, Best RPG, Best Multiplayer, and Player Voice, and they're gonna need a big bag to carry all those home. And look, you've all heard enough of me talking about how much I love Baldur's Gate 3. It's easily my game of the year too, and that's coming from a massive Zelda fanboy. But Baldur's Gate 3 just encapsulates everything I love about gaming, and man, am I excited for whatever Larian do next. While Baldur's Gate 3 cleaned up, a surprise winner was the Xbox community, who learned that the game was finally available to play on Series S and X. Larian made the announcement on X just after the awards had concluded, which does raise the question of why it wasn't announced during the event, but again, I'll get into that later. But that wasn't the only thing that will make Xbox owners happy, as Hideo Kojima and Jordan Peele revealed the teaser trailer for OD. They've both been pretty tight-lipped on the game, which used to be called Overdose, but as you can see, it's not exactly clear what is actually going on. Is it a game? Is it a film? I mean, the fact that both Kojima and Peele are involved kind of implies that it's a bit of both. Kojima has said before that it's a never-before-seen concept and that it's like a new medium, so it's certainly not going to be your run-of-the-mill horror title. But one thing that is for sure is that it's going to be an Xbox exclusive. Apparently he pitched the idea to loads of other studios who thought he was absolutely insane, which only makes me want to play it more. Another Xbox title was also revealed at the awards, although this one probably is going to be a bit more accessible. Blade is being developed by Arcane, who made Dishonored and Deathloop. That might be a little surprising to some, seeing as both are first-person immersive sims that focus on stealth and dynamic systems. Blade, on the other hand, is a pretty big departure, with director and studio head honcho Dingo Bakaba confirming that it's third-person. And yes, you might be thinking, oh god, didn't Arcane make Redfall? But that was Arcane Austin. This is being made by Arcane Lyon. Now, it's not confirmed that this will be an Xbox exclusive, but Arcane are under Bethesda's wing at Xbox, so it's pretty likely. If it is, it gives Xbox owners their very first Marvel superhero exclusive, and if it's anywhere near as good as Spider-Man, they might just have a gem on their hands. If it isn't an Xbox exclusive though, it's just going to add to the speculation that Microsoft may be winding down on console development and going third party like Sega has. Speaking of Sega, it looks like they're digging through the archives to give us some brand new games based on beloved franchises. A trailer called Power Surge, for some reason, indicated that the publisher is currently working on brand new games in 5 classic franchises: Crazy Taxi, Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, Shinobi, and Jet Set Radio. Blimey, their stuff must be busy. Interestingly, all the way back in April, footage leaked of what appeared to be a Jet Set Radio remake. Given what Sega have now announced, I wouldn't be surprised if that was legit, and we'll be skating around Tokyo, tagging up high-rise buildings once again very soon. They're claiming this is a new era for the publisher, and they're bringing a new energy to these new games. No idea again what that means, but it's great. We're going to see some new entries in these franchises at last. We also saw a bunch of stuff from Atlus, including yet another trailer for Persona 3 Reload, as well as more from the developer's next big IP, Metaphor ReFantazio. Stupid name, but the game looks pretty sweet. Sort of like Final Fantasy meets Attack on Titan. But what else did we find out last night that doesn't involve Microsoft or Sega? Well, we're getting a brand new Jurassic Park game. Set days after the first movie, Jurassic Park Survival sounds like some generic crafting survival sim we've seen a million times before, but no, this is in fact a full-blown single-player narrative adventure. You'll play as InGen scientist Dr. Mayo Joshi, who unfortunately failed to escape the island with everyone else. The game is being quoted as action-adventure, though based on the footage we've seen, it looks more like a survival horror game. The focus will be on stealth, planning, and using your cunning to avoid being torn to shreds by giant reptiles. Seems like a sensible plan to me. We've also seen some more from Supermassive Games on their single-player Dead by Daylight game. It's called The Casting of Frank Stone. The game will be set outside the original story and instead focus on a whole new cast of characters, with the narrative-driven life or death choices synonymous with Supermassive's other hits. Think Until Dawn, but with Dead by Daylight. Hello Games are making something new after spending most of the last decade putting all of the things in No Man's Sky they said would be in there originally. It's called Light No Fire, and once again, Sean Murray is projecting serious confidence with it, proclaiming it'll be infinitely bigger than No Man's Sky with no boundaries for players and the most varied universe ever created. We've heard this stuff before from him, so I take it with a massive pinch of salt. Capcom also showed off the latest game in the Monster Hunter franchise, Monster Hunter Wilds. Looks like Monster Hunter, but this is just another one. Honestly, I've never really played them. They all kind of look the same to me. Now, that's not everything, but we only have so much time. So let us know what you're most excited about from all of those announcements. Did we miss anything off of our list? Do let us know in the comments down below. So, what a night. A whole load of awards and a bunch of sick game reveals. The Game Awards must have been fantastic, right? Well, no, and I kind of need to get something off of my chest. Because considering the event is called the Game Awards, the awards really didn't take center stage. In fact, it was kind of insulting how little they were in the show. Instead, it was just packed back to back with trailers and commercials. And yeah, sure, I like a sick game reveal, but by God, was the balance off. I think the worst part was just how short the acceptance speeches were. Each winner was given like 30 seconds max, making it just feel incredibly rushed. Basically, everyone referenced how little time they had, mainly thanks to the countdown on the auto cue, followed by the TGA stuff flagging people to hurry up, and music playing them out before they've even barely strung a sentence together. The whole thing was just awkward. The voice of Kratos, Christopher Judge, kicked off the awards by giving away Best Performer. He joked about his speech last year, which was infamously very long, and did a bit about people trying to beat his record. Well, Neil Newbern, of course, won the award and instantly referenced how little time he had. He did attempt to give a genuinely heartfelt speech, highlighting the importance of games like Baldur's Gate 3, allowing the voiceless to feel seen and heard, all for the music to start kicking in after like 20 seconds. It was just bad. The final nail in the coffin for me was when Jeff Keighley rocked up halfway through and just rapid fire announced multiple awards. No trophies handed out, no speeches, just Jeff throwing out awards like they were nothing.
Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp, City Skylines 2, Company of Heroes 3, Fire Emblem Engage, and Pikmin 4. And the Game Award goes to Pikmin 4. Here are the nominees for Best Sports Racing Game.
Like, literally, look how fast he goes through the best sim/strategy category. Man, this is the highlight of people's entire careers, and their moment is just over in seconds. Damn. In fact, someone's clipped up all of the actual award segments, and out of the 3.5-hour show, guess how much it tallies up to? 16 minutes. That's right, less than a tenth of the Game Awards was actually about, you know, Game Awards. And yes, I know there were some great bits too. I am also obsessed with Flute Guy. That medley before the Game of the Year award was sick, and my bro over there was going hard even when he wasn't playing. And then damn, he pulls out this huge thing. What even is that? I don't know, but by God, do I love Flute Guy. But even a Flute Guy is not enough to distract from how rushed the whole thing felt. Also, this year has probably been the toughest the industry has ever seen. Thousands and thousands of layoffs across basically every company, and not once is that mentioned. This night is supposed to celebrate the people who make the games. Well, a lot of those people are struggling right now and being treated awfully. Surely it's worth at least a line? Clearly the whole thing just needs a revamp. With Jeff at the helm, I don't know if that's going to happen. He's too busy fawning over Hollywood actors like Timothée Chalamet. And look, I don't want to end the show on a negative note because there were some great moments. So yet again, here's some footage of Flute Guy. And that's your lot for this week. There have been some pretty big stories over the last couple of days, so make sure to check out previous episodes and yesterday's show somewhere around here. Hit us up with a like and subscribe. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.